There are periods in life when we face adversity, illness, emotional trauma, financial stress, and other dilemmas. Many of us have a supportive network of friends, family, or professionals who can help us through these days. There finally comes a time when we must seek within ourselves the strength to confront and vanquish the challenges that test our spirits. Mary Ellen Saganovich of Chattanooga is no stranger to life's uncertainties. She has prevailed over 2 major illnesses, an abusive childhood, and the difficulties of single parenthood. In overcoming the struggles of her life, she took notes, and eventually those notes became a book, released nationally last month and published by Tate Publishing and Enterprises. Healing Words, Life Lessons to Inspire was Mary Ellen's therapy and inspiration.
It started out as more of a therapy for myself. My husband and I have been married for 13 years now. So when we first got married, we had a lot of our issues, coming to the table. And I knew that, when you're angry, you can only be angry with yourself. So we were getting into these little spats. And the first one I wrote in the book is anger. Because what I did, instead of projecting it at him, I simply picked up a legal pad and I started writing. I said, I am angry at you. No, I'm angry with myself. And it goes on from there. You can read the one in the book on anger. And as I wrote that, then I heard, the best way I can say it, the next one. I can't remember what the next one was. It might have been awareness or faith or forgiveness or motive.
As an inspirational speaker and through educational workshops, Mary Ellen teaches others to get out of motive.
That if you buy a birthday present for somebody and you get upset because they don't say thank you back, okay, then you shouldn't have bought the birthday present to begin with, because there was a motive in there. And to the extent you have a motive for doing something, then you shouldn't have done it to begin with. I teach people to get out of fear. There's only 2 places you can come from, either fear or love. And if you come from a fear-based perspective, okay, you are going to then create those fears. Because fears have to come to pass in your life in order for you to learn, not to hurt you, but for you to learn. So if you can always approach everything with love. For example, when I was diagnosed with MS in 1986, I was already diagnosed with epilepsy when I was 6 and had gone through a lot of trials and tribulations, learning to be at peace with that. So then when I was diagnosed with MS in 1986, I thought, okay, there's something I have to learn from this.
She explains that the adage we've heard for years, there's something to learn from this, is true.
I can either approach it with love, not that anybody should love having MS, because trust me, it's an extremely difficult illness to deal with. And, these are put in your life to learn. So I know I was sitting in my library at the time and I was thinking to myself, okay, what do I need to learn from this? And my daughter comes by, and she was about 12 at the time. And I said, Stephanie, I know there's something I have to learn from this. And for the life of me, I can't figure out what it is. She goes, well, you take care of everybody else but yourself. And I was like, oh my gosh.
She explained that her first husband had just left. She was teaching middle school and had 6 periods of 30 kids each. She had just moved and was taking care of her daughter.
Still trying to balance myself. And to the extent all of this was hitting me at one time, my MS just flared. And to the extent I don't take care of myself today, everybody needs to take 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day to just, just sit down. I exercise every day religiously just because that works for me. That might not work for everybody. Somebody might take a walk. You should have a quiet time with yourself, because when you're quiet with yourself, then your knowings in your soul, in your spirit, you hear. That's when you receive your answers. That's when you can hear.
She teaches people to get out of their beliefs or ego mind and get into their knowings.
Your beliefs always include a doubt, but your knowings are your truth. So if you can always stick with that. And so I sat back and I looked at my daughter and I said, you're right. And I had called the National MS Foundation back in 1986 to get literature on MS. Because when I was diagnosed, I was fortunate not to have a perception of what MS was. I had heard about it and I'd never knew about it. So when I was diagnosed, I went home and called the foundation. They sent me literature. Now in 1986, this literature was really, really negative. You're going to be like this, you're going to be like that, you might as well write your will, So I called them and I said, how dare you send me this negative literature? And they said, well, we hate to tell you. And I said, well, I hate to tell you. And I took the phone and I slammed it down. And I took all the literature and I was so angry. I just shredded it.
Mary Ellen says what she didn't realize she was doing at the time, and she now teaches others to do, is to buy out of the negative picture.
I was saying, okay, that's your MS. Okay. My MS can be a different picture. When I die and go wherever, am I going to have MS? No. So in my true knowings, in my true soul, in my true spirit, there is no MS to deal with now. There's MS to deal with when I get hot. The summers are horrible. If I get too hot working out in an aerobics class, my friends will see me walking around like I'm drunk. I had to give up playing racquetball because I can't do it for a long enough period of time. I'll start losing my balance. That's a little price to pay. So you have to learn what works for you. Not every case of MS will work this way. Fortunately, mine will.
She explained that during life's calamities, you need to look at what you have to learn from it.
When you have something that's going on in you, whether it's MS or whatever you're dealing with, look at what you have to learn from it and focus on what you want. What you focus on expands, what you think about happens. To the extent you focus on generating health and wellness in your body, you are going to create that. There are plenty of times when I will get my MS pain in my right eye, and it feels like a knife just going through your eye. And that was one of my first symptoms. And I can settle myself down. There's a certain spot in my house. It's a certain chair. And I can settle myself down and get into a meditative moment. And 20 minutes later, no doctors, no medicine, the pain has subsided. When I first started doing this, I thought to myself, oh yeah, sure, this pain's going to go away like this. And I was totally amazed when it actually did happen.
She's not saying don't use doctors when you need them.
Now, there are times when I might need a little assistance from some prednisone, or I might need a little assistance from a doctor. And you should use doctors when you know you need them. I have plenty of terrific doctors in the Chattanooga area that assist me in keeping my MS and my epilepsy balanced. I just don't go run to them with any little pain. As we age, we're taught by society, well, when you age, you're going to get this, you're going to get that. So people go to these parties or wherever you connect with your people, and all they talk about are their aches and pains, their ills. Well, you got to understand that's the way those people are getting their attention. And why do you choose to get your attention that way? And to a lot of people, negative attention is better than no attention at all.
She said it all begins with awareness.
I think we all have to be aware in the first vignette in the book, and the book is set up into almost a poetry type form in the vignettes, and the first one is awareness. Until you are aware of what you need to do, you can't fix it. It's like being in a darkened closet. You're comfortable with that darkened closet, and when the door starts to open and the light starts to shine, that light's going to hurt your eyes because you haven't seen it for a long time. It's going to be uncomfortable. Well, if you are willing to embrace with love the uncomfortable feeling and go forward into that light, you get warmer and warmer, and you think to yourself, gee, why was I in that darkened closet? Why didn't I choose to become aware? And it's all a choice. The easiest way to become aware of what you need to work on is through a philosophy that I was taught by the Awareness Center in Atlanta, and I use today, is a philosophy of one finger out, three fingers back, meaning the good you see in others is the good you have inside yourself, or you wouldn't be able to see it. And conversely, the things about other people that irritate you or really hook you in your knowings, okay, are the universe's way, higher power's way, whatever you want to say, of showing you what you need to work on in yourself. Now, you can just see a negative characteristic. If you see something and it doesn't hook you and you just let it go, then you've dealt with it. You don't have to keep dealing with it.
For more information on healing words, life lessons to inspire, go online to Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or Books A Million. Mary Ellen has several book signings scheduled for this month and in April. They are listed on her website, AskMaryEllen.com. For Around and About, I'm Julie Steele.